All right, so I'm going to get started then. So, welcome everybody. This is T-Bone here, and thanks for joining me for the stream here. This is actually my episode number 200, and what I wanted to do was something a little special, and I actually wanted to, bring on a special guest and talk about the event here. So I actually have MTM here on the phone, and that's the reason why I had a different audio setting this time. But I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm actually doing this remotely. And I wanted to have him call in. And we had tested it out, but I hadn't tested it for very long. And I didn't realize that there was going to be that loop. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask MTM to join us in the chat instead. And what I will do is we can just have him be here and talk through the chat, and you can ask him questions. So what I want to do is I want to introduce him a little bit. The reason why I wanted to bring MTM on, he is a very prominent member in the forum, and you've probably seen him in the forums or in the various different chats. And so he has a lot of ideas and a lot of really good thoughts on the game itself. And so, drop in and say hi, and also welcome him to the stream. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the event itself. And let's go ahead and see what we've got here. And also, before I go any further, I wanted to say, because it's my 200th episode, I actually have a very special surprise for you guys. So I've got a couple of t-shirts, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So first of all, you can see special guest MTM. I had it all prepped. And this is the t-shirt that I'll be giving away in this episode. And so I've got two of these, and they're size large. And we're going to do this maybe halfway and also near the end of the stream. So we're going to have random giveaway to a couple of people with, these t-shirts. And at the end of the episode, I'll reach out to you, or you can reach out to me through the network app, and we can work out the details for the shipping. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the event here. And let's see. So first of all, this is going to be a second time that we see a new type of, the change. So the first time that we actually did this with the Slayers event, the latest Water Slayer event, notice that the deck itself was very different. It didn't really feel like it was a super powerful deck by itself, but if you mix and match with other decks, it actually worked pretty well. And so looking at the cards this time, this is what I'm seeing. So we're going to start with the event card here. And Menacing Tibagalang. This is actually from a Filipino folklore, and it's a half man, half horse type character. And this is very, very similar to the Haldor, the previous water event card Haldor, but it only creates 3 Dark Power Gen 4s instead of 4 of them. And so it does also heal. So this is kind of a combination of the support card and the event card in one, but it heals a little bit less. It heals only for 1,000% of heal recovery. And so, and also creates 1 less power gem. So it's not as powerful as the previous event card there. But I think that if you have a couple of these, it can help. And we can also talk about options for what we can use to make this deck a little bit better. And let's see. So also we have the Master Collection card here. And now this one is going to be a very interesting card to describe. So this is Aswan and Stalking Ghoul. This is the Master Collection card. Now this card has a very confusing battle skill, so I'm going to actually explain this. I had a conversation with MTM about this just beforehand, and he helped me understand what this really means. So the first thing is, you notice that it can create up to 10 Dark Power Gen 4s, and it has a rate of 2+2 for every 75 commander intensity. And so that this is the similar idea from the previous Master Collection card, where you start with 2 power gems, and then you kind of add 1 for every 75. It's still capped at 300. So intensity is capped at 300. But the difference here is there's a new sentence here that says begins on cooldown. And this was a very confusing part. What does that mean? And I think based on my conversation with MTM, what this means is that when you start the match, even if you matched a lot of power gems, you are not going to be able to power up the battle skill of this card until 6 turns later. That's my understanding. And so this is the part where I feel like if that's true, then this card really is not going to be very useful at the beginning of the battle. And so after that, you basically start the battle, you wait 6 turns, and then you can use the battle skill, and then 6 turns after that is when you can use it again. That's my understanding, but I don't know if that's true. So this could be, this could be their way to balance to balance out the deck, but it feels like if that's the case, then it will take a little bit too long, and you can't really use a full deck of this Master Collection card. So it's a toss-up for me. And I'm going to just stop for a second and say hi to everybody here. So there's a lot of people on the stream right now, and I'm seeing this come through. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and thanks for all the congratulations. Again, I can't believe it's been 200 episodes. It's been an awesome ride, and I've had a really good time so far. And thanks for all the support. And I see MTM in the chat right now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask him. He is... so again, I'll talk about MTM again. So he is a very prominent member because he created this spreadsheet of data that he's collected for the game. And if you wanted to ever ask any questions about data about the game itself, like the stats or when did this hero come out, what is the likelihood that you're going to be able to find this in the dust shop, etc., 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 he's got it in his spreadsheet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have MTM also put in the link to the spreadsheet so that you could actually follow it as well. And also for anybody who isn't a subscriber, feel free to subscribe. Or if you aren't part of the network chat app, if you want, I have a chat room as well, so feel free to join me there. All right, so let's move on to the next part. So we've talked about the event card and the Master Collection card. So I think at this point, I feel like I like the event card better, and we can take a look at the support card as well. So this card is Manananggal, the Wicked, and this card has a battle skill that creates 5 dark gems. So this is a much better support card compared to the last time, and it creates it for 4 turns basically. So this turn and the next 3 turns, but it has a 5-turn cooldown. So this entire deck has a very long cooldown. So this deck just feels pretty slow all the way through, but this support card does help because it will create gems every turn, and it also creates intensity, but only when it attacks. And so this card is going to be okay if you have a couple of support cards. At least it's a card that you can get for free. It will at least help out with the power, sort of the overall gem issue. And if you have a couple of them, then you at least won't run out of gems to build up the intensity. So the key here is these type of decks now you need to attack in order to increase intensity. And so I think they've addressed the issue from the last event by putting it this time. And so counters weakens as well. And so I'm seeing more names here. Thank you very much, guys. I'm very happy here to be doing the stream with you guys. And let's take a look at the ultra rare. So this card is interesting for me. So this is the Nightmare Schism, and what I see here is that it decreases damage taken by 15%. Now this is at 5 stars. I can't remember. I think it's at 20% at 6 stars. And it'll create 2 dark power gem once, and at 6 stars it goes up to 3. So what you've got here is a card that can create power gems for basically 4 turns. And if you're able to save them and not match the power gems, you can sort of save them up over a couple of turns, then you've actually got a board with a lot of power gems that you can use to power up the deck itself. So this card could be good, but it's not going to be a card where you just activate one time and then be able to take down the boss right away. I think it will take some planning and take some matching in order to make it work. So this is another sort of a change in the overall meta right now. Like it just doesn't feel like any single card is that overpowering. Instead, you have to sort of really pick and choose what you want to do. And so let's take a look here. Just want to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. And so I'm seeing William Bison, Midnight Destroyer, hi, Hashtone, Nadine, Crispy, James Levine, Nathaniel Asperger, William Woodell, Grizz, Elizabeth Nungage, Train X Rec, I recognize a lot of these names here because you guys also have commented on my videos in the past, and I appreciate all of the support and all of the feedback so far. I've really enjoyed the engagement here. And so now, question for everybody here. So what did you think about the previous Slayer deck, and how do you feel about this event deck here? So that we've sort of talked about the cards here, and how do you feel? And I'm also going to be opening the runes here while we talk here. And just by the way, the last Slayer event, my luck was pretty terrible with the runes. I think I had, out of the 10 possible runes I got, I had basically 3 of them on dupes. And the very, very last one, I was actually hoping I might as well just get get another duplicate, but I ended up getting the 4th one that I didn't have. But I didn't have enough to craft it, so I didn't get the Master Collection card. And so let's see how we're doing. And I believe that was a dupe. So let's see. Yeah, so unfortunately couldn't start with 3 non-dupes here. But that's how it's been for the last few events there anyways. Let's see here. Casey Freeman, thank you very much. Pedro, Michael, welcome to the stream. All right, so now my plan, usually what I recommend, this is because of the different format here, but normally in my preview videos, I always recommend people to do the following, right? So the first thing you want to do is make sure you don't miss out on the Headstart pack. So let's go ahead and open one. So if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the stream, or if you're new to the video, new to the game, whatever it might be, this is the pack that you definitely want to open, especially if you're free to play. So this will give you 50 levels and it's going to help out a lot. But I generally don't spend the 500 gems to open up the next one because it's, for me anyways, I like to save the gems. Right now, I'm not, I don't feel that it's worth the 500 gems for me, but it does skip up to 100 level 100, which could be very helpful for reducing a lot of the grind. So this is something to think about. So for me, I grind through the additional 50 levels, but it can be helpful if you don't like the grind. Spend the 500 gems to get up to level 100 there. And so let's see here. So feedback. So okay, so some people are saying that they like the last Slayer event. There's a lot of experimentation, and also William saying that this event looks interesting. Okay. Yeah, so personally, how I felt about the last Water Slayer deck, I'm going to show you through the Legend Boss. I'm actually going to go and fight a Legend Boss here. And we can actually try a fight using a couple of teams there. And there's a question here. So can we have MTM back next week? And so what I'm going to do, because the stream didn't work, I think what I can do is when we tried private recording, and that was okay. So what I'm going to do for the next episode is I'm going to bring him back, and we can actually have a, we will do a recording with him talking here. Unfortunately, he couldn't be on the stream with us live today. Apologize for that, but I will definitely have him on again so that you could hear his voice. All right, so let's go ahead and so I think that's the cards themselves. So now personally, I think that there's a couple, before I go into the legend bosses, there's a couple of things I was thinking, right? So it's Dark Corrupt. And the thing is, not a lot of people, especially if you're new, you probably don't have a lot of these cards. But what I do like is that, the wrong thing here. Go to Corrupt here. So these are the cards I do have, and I think if you have the Thrall deck, I personally feel that using Thrall is a good choice just as a gem spawner. Like, this card can actually fill up the entire board with dark gems, and if you have a Guardian of Gaul, which is another dark corrupt event card, this card will give you power gem 2s based on the number of gems on the board. So for every 5 dark gems on the board, it'll create an additional power gem. So basically with 35 gems there, you'll create a total of 8 power gem 2s. So which is not a bad deal. And also if you just combine those 2 cards, you're going to be able to set them up together with the current event deck, and you'll be able to at least use the power, sort of the corrupt intensity relics to power up the team. And so what we don't have is a card that gives you an unlimited boost of attack based on corrupt intensity. So that is a card that we don't have, like unlike the previous event where we had something that, boosted all of the Water Slayer teams. Like we saw some really insane damage there. We're not going to get that, but there's a couple of things that gives you some boost. There are cards and relics that give you boost, and the ultra rare card also gives you a damage reduction. So it kind of feels that way. So it remains to be seen. Now, personally, what I like to do is I like to wait until the event starts before I open any packs. But I think in today's stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up to tier 3 just to see what we get. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, for anybody who's just joining the stream here, you might have missed it. Near the end of the event, near the end of the stream, what I'm going to do is I have 2 of these t-shirts here. So this was actually a shirt that was given by the network content team. And so I'm very excited to be able to give it to a couple of you. So I'm going to draw names at random, and then I'm going to let you know. And after the stream, please reach out to me through the network app, and then we can work out the details. All right, and so let's go ahead and take a look at the legend bosses. So one of the questions always, can you take down the legend boss using the event deck? And so there's a couple of teams here. If you already have Dynamite Dougal and that water team, you can use that. That team is really strong, and you should have no problems there. But the point here is to use the event deck. Now, I don't actually have the event deck, so there's a couple of teams that I use. These were 2 teams that I really like. One was the combination of Golden Trickster and Karasu. This was from the Players Celebration event. So this combination allows you to get more power gems. And so that's why it was a really good and fast team to use. And another one I liked was using the combination of Marvel Madel and Draconic Irrigator. I got this card from the pack that they sold, and I was able to get at tier 3. So I got really lucky there, and I was really happy to use that. And this card is good for very long, drawn-out fights because it takes a while. You really need to actually build up intensity in order to use the deck. So we're going to try out both of these. I'm not going to do the full fights. I'm just going to sort of try out, see how much damage you can take out. So let's take a look here. Yeah, so the t-shirt is pretty cool. So, this was a design. You've actually seen Jeff Kanata wear that t-shirt in some of his videos, right? So these are shirts from Network. And so there's 2 of them. I'll be giving them away, and I'm very excited to do that. All right, so I see other people, are also using the Fire Dragon. That is true. There's also the Fire Dragon deck. That's what Training X Rec just said. It is really a powerful deck, the previous Fire Dragon deck. But let's see how this does. So let's go ahead and go up against Suitor now. And we're going to start with this one. So let's just take a look and see how much damage I can deal after I take down the armor here. And I think Suitor will deal double damage every 4 turns. And so the thing here is taking down the armor, there's what you want to do is you actually don't want to use up all of your water gems or all of your gems right from the start. You want to do as minimum matches as you can so that you can actually have more gems to match without missing a turn, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to actually have a turn where you don't actually match anything, because then you're going to end up wasting some time there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Karasu here. It's going to build up some gems, and it looks like, unfortunately, because I'm not going to be able to match a gem there, I'm going to go ahead and activate here. And knowing that it's going to take a few turns anyways before I actually finish with the armor, that's actually okay. And so yeah, unfortunately this is, so I am going to lose a turn there. I didn't want to do that. Okay. And let's see here, so 20, so 4 more turns. Okay, so we'll do that, and then after this I'll be able to activate Karasu again. I'll be losing the tile. And sorry, I'm not going to be able to I'm trying to get to the end of the battle quick here, so I'm not really able to read up on the chats there. Just bear with me. So a couple more turns. I just want to see how much damage I can do. So the thing with this particular deck is that the damage is capped. There isn't really a damage boost there per se, and so, oh man. So what you see here on turn one, that's pretty much what you're going to see. The only way to get more damage there is to draw out the number of turns that you have the tiles for. So what I've done during the Slayer event was I would actually basically use Karasu's skill, and you'll see what I'm going to do this here. So you use Karasu's skill first, and then you're going to create the tile, and then what you can do is basically wait for the next 4 turns until the skill activates again, is available again for Haldor. And during this time, you want to move your blue power gems out of the way as well, because once it creates power gem force, it's not going to be able to upgrade again. So you're gonna end up losing out some power gems there. And I actually accidentally matched one by accident there, and so let's move this out of the way. And then so now it's been 4 turns. I'm going to be able to activate everything again, and let's see how much damage there is. So I can already tell that this isn't going to be that great. Well, at least right now, the way I'm playing this isn't going to be very effective in terms of taking down this boss. But let's see how much damage we can deal. I think, let's see. So it deals about 10 billion, and so it's not quite sufficient. And so if you played really fast, then you can probably do that. So this isn't going to be the deck necessarily, and I'm going to just quit out here. So next, we're going to try using the Irrigator just to see, but there's other decks as well. And let's see here. So I'm just reading the chat again. So yeah, so the question is, isn't there going to be some health problems? And I think you can see there that the health really was starting to be a problem, especially since I wasn't using every turn. But I think if you keep up with it, you might be able to survive just long enough to deal the damage that you need. Let's see here, another questions there. So yeah, so there's a lot of comments about the vault. So Thrall was the last vault event, and it was one of those events where everybody just played super hard because you could get an entire deck without spending a single dime, and that was really good. I don't think they're gonna do it again. The last few times they tried vault after Thrall, it wasn't a true vault event. They did this thing where they had scrolls. So you basically played really hard to earn scrolls that helped you take down bosses, but it didn't give you anything else for free. And so that's unfortunate. So now let's go ahead and do this one. So this is the Irrigator team. Now, when I went up against the Eternal bosses, I was able to get pretty high scores there. I don't think I can one-shot the boss here, but again, this is sort of the same idea here. But with this team, it's more important to actually build up the intensity, because you need to use the intensity that the Irrigator uses intensity here. And let's see here. So what I can do is I can use this ability to drop the water gems there. Now, there's a thing that I did there. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but when you have 3 gems in a row, and if they're not power gems, you can actually just do a swipe in line. And what that does is it does a match for you without moving any other gems. Sometimes you may not want to move a gem, and because it might screw up your setup. And so what you can do is you can just do an inline swipe, and that'll actually go ahead and do a match for you, and then you can then do a quick swap to end your turn there. And so that's something that you might be able to do as well. So that's just something to consider. So I just did that again. And so let's see, we're at intensity 250 already, so that's actually not bad. So let's go ahead and do this. And now I have to be much more careful about healing every turn, because Suitor does do double damage every 4 turns. And so that is going to be a problem here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another swap here. And then if you have all power gems, like in this case, you don't want to do a swipe. What you can do is you can just do a regular gem match outside. And I guess what I should be doing is I should be looking for heart gem matches as well. So let's go ahead and do that. And so with this, I'll be able to do my attack, and I just need to make sure that but the problem is I need to have my Irrigator powered up as well. So this is it's tough without the gems that can actually create spawn gems. It's a lot harder than the Slayer event that I was doing. All right, so let's go ahead and try this now. So what you want to do is you want to activate Mado first, and then you go ahead and activate the irrigator, and then now you can go ahead and deal some damage there. Let's see how much we can do here. And then at this point, we want to make sure that we have a cadence here. So the thing is, Haldor has a 5-turn cooldown, and so what I did was I actually just every 3 turns I would activate Mado first, and then I would wait another 2 turns and then activate with Haldor. So I kind of do a chip damage and then another one that's full. It does take a while before it actually does anything meaningful in terms of damage. So it's going to take a while here. So let's see how much we can do when it actually starts building up. So I think at around intensity 1,000 or maybe like 1,200 or so is when you're going to see it make a difference there. And right now, it doesn't seem to be doing very good damage there. But let's see here. So let's go ahead and I think I actually had to set up the other way. So it's a little easier, but let's see here. So at some point you're going to just have a board full of power gems. And I think I was dealing close to 200 billion or 250 billion damage per attack there. So I'm just going to do one more hit here and then let's see how much damage. So right now, yeah, I'm not really doing anything. So these don't seem to be as effective, at least when I'm playing right here. Let's go ahead and just do one more turn here. So this one isn't going to deal as much damage because I'm not really using a full board here. And we're at 1757 right here. I wasted a lot of time in the beginning. So yeah, 3 billion. So I'm going to exit out here. What I'm going to probably go back to is I usually go back to either the Wendigo deck. So the Wendigo deck is definitely a good option there. Another one, if you use it, you probably already know about this. I use the Earth technological deck as well. So this is the one I usually do. And it still does pretty well, even against fire. All right, so lots of chat here again. So thanks to everybody. If you were new, if you just joined us, thank you for joining. So this is, the episode number 200. And so that's why I try to do a stream. Now, if you enjoy the stream, format, I think I could probably find another day that isn't a event preview, but more of an actual event, mid-event, so that we can actually do some fights and we can do some chats there. Let me know if that's something that you like to do. And so I'm just going to read back a little bit just to say hi to some new people. So just telling the truth, be like Billy, Elizabeth Nutgage, I saw earlier, Debbie Moss. Hello there. And MTM, thanks for being in the chat. Thanks to and sorry about the fact that I couldn't feature you this time, but we're going to do an episode together. And so for anybody who's just joining, MTM was my special guest, but we couldn't get the audio working. And so what we're going to do is, there were some good ideas. I couldn't remember who actually suggested it, but it was a really good idea. I'm going to bring him back. And we're going to actually have him do a video with me, so we can record us talking, and then I'll just be able to package it and then send it up, do an upload, so that way you can see it. And in the meantime, I'll figure out the stream thing, because I really wanted to be able to do a live stream with a guest. That was the whole idea there. All right. So is there anything else that I missed here? I just wanted to make sure. I don't want the stream to go for too long there, but I wanted to make sure I cover the following, right? So personally, how I feel about this particular event deck, it's hard to say. I really like the idea. I really like the idea of making the deck itself be less powerful on its own, so you don't feel that it's a end-all be-all deck that you must get every single week in order to be successful. And the problem is, if you're new and you don't have all of the cards, then it is going to be a little bit tougher to be successful. But then again, they released these packs where you can get some ultra rare and some really good cards. Like the last time they released a card with the irrigator, and it was at a reduced gem cost. So I think that was a good idea. Now, personally, I'm going to be happy with this deck because it's Dark Corrupt and I have some good cards there, so I will be able to mix it up a lot, and I'm going to showcase it in the next video where I do some deck ideas. And I also like the idea that they have cards that give you a boost to all dark commanders. So that's the thing, right? So the cards here themselves would actually give you a boost to all dark commanders. So for example, S1 here. So if you have good dark commanders, like some of the cards I have in mind also are, if you just look at my dark commanders, I'm not going to filter here. Like for example, Lalo. Lalo is a really good commander card as well. So I can use him in this particular event, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I can mix up a little bit so that it's not just an event deck, but it's a combination of different decks. You invest in a card. Sometimes people just want to invest in one card, or maybe they get lucky and get a Master Collection card. You want to be able to use it in the next event or the multiple events afterwards. So I like the idea of using a card that can boost all commanders or all slayers, because then you can use those old cards. So I see a question from me here. Yeah, if you tag me, I'll be able to see this a little bit better. And Pedro, thanks for the reminder. I am going to open up the tier 3 so we can see how we do there. Let's go ahead and open that right now. Wish me luck. So let's go ahead and open up the packs here. So let's see. And I mean, tier 4, you'll get the guarantee card. So we'll see where we are. And I get Lady Agista. So this card was a really good card. It's hard to evolve though, but she does, she does a full heal, and at 6 stars will delay by 2 turns. Let's open up the second tier here. And I got Shepherd of Souls on tier 2. Okay. So hopefully tier 3 is going to be the event card. Let's see here. And I think you get an extra rune there, so that's good. No duplicate there, and that's a 500 gems. And no, I got Victus. All right, so that's tier 3, and so no event card for me, although I probably will end up getting the event card. I'm just going to wait until I do the collection. So let's see what we got here. So in terms of the collection, I got... Oh, okay, so I did get duplicates there. So 5 runes, and 2 of them are dupes, so that's really, really too bad. Oh, because it was I think tier 3 gave you an additional rune, is that right? Tier 3 gives you an additional rune, and both of them were dupes this time. So that's frustrating. But yeah, so I'm going to wait until I get the collection to see if I get the event card, and then it'll be 2,000 gems to get the tier 4, and then I need to save 1,000 gems for the relics, so I'll still have enough there. So there's tier 3, and then SP Floyd 2000. Do you think the changes between this and the last event were because of the difference with Commander and Slayer, or because they actually listen? I can't really speak for the devs. I mean, I have as much information as you do, but from what I have heard, just from different conversations there, is that part of it really is because they recognize that if they went down the path where every single week that came out contained a deck that just made people feel like they had to get just in order to compete, it wasn't a sustainable model. And also, they've really gone away from the deck building aspect of the game, which is what it started from. And so part of it, I think, is also the desire to get back to a game where everybody loves. We want to have longevity in the game. We all do. And, making it into a model where we have to spend gems every single week to get the full deck just to be at a level where we can stay in the league or to be competitive, it was starting to get very tiring as well. And so introducing this concept where you can just get a couple cards and then you can mix and match to build a different deck is, I think, a great idea. And so, I think they're seeing the positive feedback from it, and that's probably the direction it'll go. Personally, I have never seen this many people talk about the deck and talk about how they could, get better damage. In fact, when people ask the question of, so how do you use the event deck? I was compelled to ask the question of, well, what kind of deck are you looking at, right? Because there are so many different options and so many different ways to play the decks there that it just opened up the field in the last Slayers. So I'm looking forward to that for the commander as well. And, Arena, I'm not sure if... Arena is definitely going to be coming back, and just don't know when yet. Also, what I do know is that the Heavenly Spire is going to come out next week. So that is something to look forward to as well. And Cursor, good morning. It's 5:30 in the morning. Jeremy, thank you so much for waking up early to view the stream, and appreciate that. And let's see here. So Jeff Pierre, would these cards be good with Thrall deck? Yes, I believe it will be, especially since Thrall and God's Flesh are two cards that can give you a full board of Dark Gems. So that in itself, plus the power gems that you can get from the event cards, is going to help you deal pretty good damage. How much damage you'll be able to deal, I'm not too sure, but that remains to be seen. And so there's another question here. If you have an account, so Grizz7, I think you just have to open a support ticket. I'm not sure which dev could help. You can also go to the forum and tag either Alex or Sniper Wheat, and they can hopefully get you straightened away. And thank you, Rot Frog. Yeah, hopefully I can get another 200 episodes as well. And so for the people that are joining, and I see 5:30 a.m., 11:40 p.m., 2:40. Thank you guys for staying up late and waking up early here. I really, really appreciate that. And for some of you who recently joined, I'm going to show this once again because I think it's really, really cool. So this is a t-shirt I'm going to be giving away, and so everybody who commented in this chat, I'm going to put into a random draw, and I'm going to give away 2 of these t-shirts to the people. And so Casey Freeman, you wanted me to review the 13 card one more time. I can definitely do that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do a random drawing first for the first winner. So just give me 1 second. And what I really need next time is a moderator or somebody who can help me enter names in there, and so I can actually do this faster. Okay, and so what I'm doing here, just give me 1 second. So I'm going to enter the names into a spreadsheet. I'm going to just do a random generator to pick the name. So bear with me. Yeah, so the t-shirt is actually something that I got from the network content team. I just reached out and I sort of, they're really good people. And so they helped me out, got me a couple of shirts. These are shirts that you're going to have to, I don't think you can find them anywhere. So let's go ahead and do the drawing, and the number is... So the first t-shirt goes to SP Floyd 2000. And so now let's go ahead and do so please make sure you reach out to me, and then in the network app, and then we will work out the details. And then we'll have one more t-shirt to go after I review the times 13 card. So this card, so basically this card has the ability to go up to 10 Power Gen 4s, but it isn't something that will happen right away. So there is quite a bit of a cooldown there, and it's capped at 300. So you have a cap of 300. What this means is you start with 2, and then for every 75 Dark Commander intensity, you'll add 2 more Power Gen 4s, and it goes up to 10 total. But there's a term there, there's a sentence that says begins on cooldown. My understanding is that when you start the match, even if you match all dark gems in the beginning, you're going to have you're going to basically not power up the battle skill until 6 turns later. So you start the match, and then you make sure you match 12 gems. 6 turns later, you'll be able to activate it, and whatever intensity you build up by that point is the number of power gems that you'll be able to create. And so if you have 75 intensity by that point, then you'll be able to create 4 power gems. Otherwise, you'll create just the 2. And so there's a couple of questions there. Will corrupt intensity help these cards? And the answer is yes, in terms of the attack. So these cards now will only be powered up by commander intensity in terms of getting additional power gems. But in terms of using corrupt relic, it's still very useful because you'll be able to get more attack overall. And if you're mixing and matching cards, so for example, using Thrall, you need to have the corrupt relic in order to power it up. And so MTM says this is also the only hero that uses intensity. I think that is true there, because if we take a look at the support card, you're right. So that's actually a really good thing, so that by removing a lot of the intensity requirements, you actually don't need to, you don't have to worry about building up intensity. So I like non-intensity related cards. So that's actually a good thing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now pick a second person for the drawing. And what I'm going to do is enter the name into the random generator again. Okay. And the person that is... Hold on a second. Let me just do this one more time. Okay. And the second person that... Oh, I lost it. Okay, so we have our second winner, Elizabeth. Congratulations on winning a t-shirt. So here are the two winners for the t-shirts. Thank you very much, guys. And so that's the end of this stream. I wanted to do something a little special for you guys, and I'm glad I was able to give something away here. And thanks for joining me, and thanks for having this great conversation there. I'm sorry I wasn't able to respond to all of the chats, but hopefully this answers some questions. And like I said before, we're going to have MTM back next time, and actually have him on audio for real. And so we can do another special episode there. So that's it for today's stream. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. And so Elizabeth and SB, if you guys could also make sure to reach out to me through the network app, then we could work out the details for sending it to you. All right. So thank you very much, guys. That's it for this episode, and I will see you next time. Take care.